Hi friend, my name is Steve Hall, and I am excited to introduce to you the ministry of Truth in Time. As we begin, I want to tell you two short stories. Now pause with me for just a moment and consider. A group of people lived long ago by a mountain that had been rumbling for days and for weeks. These people were used to living near this volcano, and they didn't give it much thought until it happened. The massive volcano erupted, and thousands of men, women, and children died. They perished from the gas and the fumes, and their bodies were quickly buried by all the ash and debris spewed into the air by the volcano when it erupted. Now, this story that I've just told you is indeed a fact, and I can tell you this for two reasons. I can tell you exactly where it happened, Pompeii, Italy, and because of the bodies that have been excavated, I can tell you exactly when it happened, AD 79. Now, I can tell you another story about a beautiful kingdom where there lived a beautiful young girl. This girl was treated cruelly by her stepmother and her wicked stepsisters. She was nevertheless kind to all around her, and eventually, through an amazing chain of events, she found herself the recipient of such good fortune that the prince of the kingdom himself fell in love with her. She accepted his proposal and became the beloved princess of the kingdom. Oh, and the glass slipper that had played such a key role in their love story was displayed in the kingdom treasury for generations to come. Now, I'd submit to you that the story I've now told you is indeed not a fact, but is a fairy tale. Though we are told the name of the young girl, Cinderella, nobody knows where this took place and nobody knows when this took place. What was the name of the kingdom? What country was this in? And of course, no one has ever seen the legendary glass slipper. So the lesson here is simply that true stories are found in real world history. Now I could tell you other stories that have been precious to many people over the ages. The stories and accounts from the Bible. The Bible presents the stories that it tells as real-world history. The Bible tells us where these events took place. And just like our story of the tragedy in Pompeii, if they are true stories, modern archaeology and chronology will be able to show us the evidence of where and when they took place. Either the events talked about in the Bible are real-world history, or they're not. We emphatically say yes. These accounts given to us in the Bible truly are real-world history. We can absolutely know where these events took place, and we can know when they took place. There's so much I would like to show you. I want to take you up on the top of the true Mount Sinai and show you the place where Moses stood and addressed the Israelites who were encamped on the wide open plain below him. I want you to journey with me through the wilderness where the Israelites actually camped and left behind ample evidence. Come and see the great heap of stones at Ai and learn about the actual walls that fell at Jericho. Who was the Pharaoh of the Exodus? What happened to Egypt when God sent all the plagues to that land and took his people out? Was Egypt actually destroyed just as the Bible records? Going back even further in history, let's talk about the civilizations that were wiped out by the historical event of Noah's flood. Yes, we can even find this in real-world history. I can show you this and so much more on a timeline. These biblical accounts are firmly anchored in real-world history. The sessions that I present are based upon the work of Dr. Gerald Aardsma, who has worked in the field of biblical chronology for decades. His discoveries have brought a desperately needed harmony to ancient biblical and secular history. Now, this might come as a surprise to many Christians, but most historians today would tell you that major biblical events, such as the Exodus and the flood, never happened. And here's the truth. In a way, these folks have a point. These events certainly did not happen at the time they are looking for them. Correct chronology by itself sounds dry and boring, but oh, the places that it leads. Now, at the beginning of this video, we contrasted the eruption of Mount Vesuvius with the story of Cinderella. We know where Mount Vesuvius is, we know when it erupted, and therefore we can show this event on a timeline, and we see the real-world evidence for this tragic event. With Cinderella, we have none of these key elements. All we have is, well, a nice story. The Bible stories are not of the Cinderella type. They are of the Mount Vesuvius type. They really happened in the real world. Through the ministry of Truth in Time, I would love to show you when they happened and where they happened. As we take these journeys that I have described, we will find our faith being strengthened. The accounts in the scriptures are not fairy tales, they're not myths, and we do not serve a God of fairy tales. Indeed, we serve the true and the living God. He is the Lord of history, and He is the Lord of today.